After a spectacular career, he retired gracefully, took up a job in the media, and he looks set to remain a legend in the eyes of footy fans right around Australia. But now the 31-year-old lad from country Victoria is prepared to put his legend on the line and make a comeback. But as Brooke Bayville reports, even he is not so sure he can pull it off.
Line up the goals from about 35 metres in. Oh, magnificent goal by Watson.
Finally picked up by Timmy Watson. Sidesteps about three of them. And look at the little jam go.
Timmy Watson can draw the player, then fire towards goal. Oh, thank you, Timmy. Watson towards goal. Another whipper.
And charging onto it, Watson. Watson for goal, and he's done it. And that's raised the roof.
But then the bombshell.
The constant battle against injuries finally ended the 282-game career of the Bomber legend today. Essendon officials were stunned with Watson's decision, a decision branded as premature by many at Windy Hill.
I was sort of having all these feelings of doubt about playing, about wanting to play, about enjoying what I was doing. So when I did finally make the decision, which sort of came very suddenly for the club, I felt an enormous sense of relief.
That relief was only equalled by the Bombers' despair, with Watson's retirement marking the end of one of the most remarkable careers in Australian rules football. The groundwork started in his early teens, playing in the Wimmera Football League in rural Victoria. In 1976, he was selected in the state schoolboys team, an achievement not lost on the talent-seeking Bombers. Round 7 1977 and 15-year-old Watson runs on for Essendon to become the second youngest ever to play in the senior league.
It goes out towards young Watson on the outer side of the ground. Watson shepherded by Boyd. Good play by Essendon.
It was the first of 282 games for Essendon over a 15-year period.
Walker out wide to Watson. Watson's been a star. He bounces the ball. Still got it. Fires at the goals. A long drop punt. Magnificent goal kicked by Timmy Watson.
In that time, he kicked 308 goals, was voted club best and fairest 4 times, captained the team for 3 seasons and played in 2 premiership sides.
It's a ripper of a mark by Watson. Here's another ball, a long kick, and this could be a goal again. And that's what you call inspiring captaincy by this young fellow. And that's Watson at his best.
When you look back on your career, what would you say of all of that time would be the highlight?
Without doubt, would have been the 1984 grand final. The first grand final that we actually won because of the years of disappointment we'd had before that in reaching finals, being put out, and then finally to get into 84 and to win it. I didn't think that there would be anything that could ever match that as a highlight.
But along with the highs, there were also the incredible lows. Plagued by knee and ankle problems, Watson's peak years were fraught with injury, which among other things resulted in a knee reconstruction. The pain, coupled with years of discipline and sacrifice, forced his hand, and at the end of the 1991 season, Watson decided enough was enough. What followed was a career in television.
Thank you, Sandy. Well, it's been a terribly torrid game here. At three-quarter time, Malcolm Blight was very distressed about some of his players.
Caught up with Bobby Woods, the Essendon doorman, and Woodsy was probably one of the first guys I met when I came down to Essendon 16 years ago. He took a big puff on his cigarette, blew smoke in my face and said, "No, the media aren't allowed in here," so they've already about forgotten about me, Bruce.
But had they? So much had been written and said about his playing and subsequent retirement, it appeared Watson's football career was a closed book. But then he decided to rewrite the final chapter.
I retired. I'd had enough of football, and I was just tired and really didn't feel like playing anymore. And then I just started to get the urge to go back and play.
Watson set himself 6 to 8 weeks to get fit, and after 12 months on the sidelines, it was quite a task.
Just remember this, mate, when you're a bloody BOG in the grand final win.
Watson's biggest fear that he'd break down before he was fit enough to play in the seniors. But despite the memories of injuries past, he ploughed on.
Well, it's always there. I mean, it doesn't really go away. I wake up in the mornings and there's stiffness, there's soreness, and there's bits of pain. Football's, people are constantly getting injured, and if you just can't afford to fear being injured, because then you just won't be able to perform as a player.
Gracie, what do you want on your toast?
Breakfast in the Watson household 3 weeks ago.
I was just really looking forward to having some sort of normal life.
While wife Susie dreamt of what could have been, Watson was ready for his first game back, a reserves match against Footscray.
Come on. All right. Good to see you back. Thank you, sir.
It was a far from glorious return to the game, but as the weeks went on with 2 more matches under his ever-lessening belt, the improvement was marked. Watson was finally ready for the big time, yesterday's clash with St Kilda. It was still a far cry from the Watson of days gone by, but the signs were there.
I was cringing a few times just because I let my opponent take the mark a few times, and it was just a judgment thing, and I think they're the sorts of things that you can only rectify after you've played a lot more games. And I don't know. I was just really happy to get it out of the way. Yeah.
Well, we were pretty pleased with him, to be honest. You know, I mean, it's the first game for quite a long time, and I mean, he had a lot of good parts of his play there still in his kit, and I think that today's game and the fitness of today's game sort of thing will really do him the world of good. And I think that I mean, he'll only get better from here on in. There's no doubt about that.
Meanwhile, if Watson's competence can match his courage remains to be seen. The ever-modest Timmy Watson isn't making any promises.
I don't expect to win a Brownlow medal. I don't expect to win a Best and Fairest award. But, you know, I don't want to sort of come back and have people think that perhaps, you know, I cost another young player the opportunity to further their career.